Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kasenge Blessings for Onza TV, and today we have a very interesting topic. And today we are discussing sports betting. And with me here is Scott and Sandra. So I'll ask him to briefly introduce themselves as we start the interview.
Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Ashton Scott Yanesha. I'm a 60th medical student here at Onza Ridgeway campus. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Okay.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Sandra Milosh, 5th year biomedical student.
All right, welcome Sandra and welcome Scott to this wonderful interview. So today we're actually discussing sports betting. So I still don't know if you bet or not. We're yet to find out. So my first question then goes to you, Scott. Do you bet? If yes, then when did you start betting?
Okay. Betting per se. Yes, I do bet. I do bet. And I started betting, I think, if it's okay, football betting itself. I started betting, I think, in 2018. Yeah, but growing up, we used to bet, like, when I'm playing a game of pool. Yeah, but it was like simple bets. But like soccer betting, I started in 2018.
Okay. Sandra, do you bet? When did you start betting?
Yeah, I do bet, and then I think maybe late 2018 or early 2019, something like that.
So you've been betting for 2 years or so. All right. So I'll now maybe share with you something that has been researched. So in mental health, basically there are two types of substance use related disorders, or two types of abuse related disorders. There's substance abuse, which involves drug addiction as well as alcohol, and non-substance abuse. Among them was sexual addiction, pornography, and gambling is one of them. So today our topic of discussion is sports betting, which is a type of gambling. So I believe that both of you have somehow participated in sports betting. So maybe coming to you, Scott, from your understanding, do you think betting is right? Just from your own ideology or from what you believe?
Okay, from my belief, okay, it would be difficult to give an explicit answer on that one. In some way it's right, in some way it's bad. I think that's the opinion I can give.
So you're more of neutral.
More of a neutral person on that.
Alright, Sandra,
Yeah.
do you think betting is right?
Okay, for me, I think it's right because I do it, so I wouldn't want to go against something that I do, so I'll go for it being right.
Alright. Okay, so let me just take you back. So what made you start betting, Sandra? Like, did you just wake up one day and you were like, I think I need to start betting? Like, what made you start betting?
Okay, I just love football. Like, I've loved football since I was very young, and growing up in a home full of guys. So, like, you hear guys talking about betting and all those things. So, I remember that the person who made me start betting is my brother, because he used to win a lot. And you'd always come and shine for us, like, no, I've made this money and all those things. So, I started having interest, and that's how I started learning how to bet.
Alright. And Scott, what made you start betting?
I think I also started because of influence, I would say. It all stemmed from, as she said, people coming to flash to you that, no, I've won this and that. I remember I had a friend who liked betting a lot. And every time we'd always talk about it. Today I won a 700 kwacha, today I won this. I was very skeptical about it. I was like, does this thing even work? And yeah, so for me, really, I think I started because of, I wouldn't lie, I think it's because of the influence from the people that were betting before me. Yeah,
Alright.
That's what made me start.
Yeah. So, sport betting is something that is really on the rise. And I'm sure we've seen quite a number of betting companies. There's BetPower, there's Betway, and there's 1xBet. So, they keep increasing. So, which shows you that obviously these betting companies are actually making profits. And there was actually a study that was done here at Ridgeway campus by a then 60th medical student, Chisoni. And he sampled 100 medical students, and he found that 71% of those students were actually betting. So which shows you that actually 3/4 of the students, especially even here at Ridgeway campus, not only here, maybe even other institutions, or maybe may I say youths, are involved in betting. So maybe coming to you, Sandra, what is the biggest amount that you have ever won after placing a bet?
The biggest amount of won is 1,114 kwacha, of which I had put the stock of 50 kwacha.
So you put 50 kwacha and you amassed 1,400.
Yes.
Okay, Scott.
For me, the highest I've won on my ticket was actually not from one ticket. But in a day, I think I also won about 1,500 from 3 different tickets. And my stake was just about like a 50 kwacha on those 3 tickets. Doing some Champions League game at some point. Yeah, I think that's the highest. I don't know beyond that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So, actually, you know, guys, the levels of unemployment are on the rise here in Zambia, and if you look at half of the population, majority are actually living in abject poverty. And so, most youths, we can't run away from the fact that they've resorted to betting. So, maybe may I come to you, Scott? How did you use this money after you had won it? Like, did you invest it in some form of business? You know, actually here, before people bet, actually say, Bangako capital. Like, more to say, like, if I win this money, I'm going to invest it somewhere. So, how did you use the money that you won?
Oh, that's the irony to this story. I think what my initial plan was, if after I get this money, I'll probably try to get something for myself, because that's what I was always telling myself. If I'm going to win 1,000 or more, I'll probably just use the money. But to the contrary, what happened is I actually invested the money back into Betway, and it didn't end well for me. And I think I ended up only using, I think, maybe 10% of that money to my own, but the rest of it, I think I tried to reinvest it and it didn't pan out well for me. Yeah, I think that's the irony to that story. Yeah.
Sandra, how did you use the
Okay, I think the
1,400?
same with Scott's story. Like, you know, there's just something about Betway. Once you win, you feel like, okay, I'm going to make more than this amount. But then my story is somehow different from his, because like after I got the money, I got 70% of it. I used it for some things that I wanted to use, like there was this business that we're discussing about with my friend, of which I invested part of it in it, and then I used part of it to just spoil myself. Then the other 30% I invested it back into Betway, which is the one that I'm still using even now.
Alright, interesting. So it seems after you win this money, again you have to reinvest it. Maybe that's why the betting companies are increasing, because it seems when people, it's like money is being recycled. Yeah. Okay, so one thing also is that, you know, pathological gambling is actually the most common behavioral addiction. And as I said in my preamble, it falls under non-substance related abuse disorders. And we've actually seen that it's on the rise. Yeah. So coming to you, Sandra, do you think you're addicted to betting?
Yes, I think I am, because even if I don't have money, I'll make sure that I'll always spare some money specifically just for betting.
Just for betting?
Yes.
And what do you use, like Airtel money, MTN money, or
I
maybe
use
you...
both. I've got MTN and Airtel, so I use both accounts. But mostly I'm more inclined to Airtel because it's the one that's like when I place a ticket with Airtel, I win as compared to MTN.
Oh, interesting. Scott?
Am I addicted? I think, to be frank, in some way, I don't know if maybe we might call it an addiction, because every time I have money, as I think as somebody can say, I always leave something for Betway. It's like there's always something. No matter what amount I have, I'll definitely leave something for Betway. So it's something which I'm not proud to say I do every day, but I think I do every day in some way or another. Yeah. So if it's doing it every day is considered addiction, then maybe I might be addicted.
Yeah, so from my understanding, there's online betting, which is the one that you just get to use the MTN money or Airtel money, and there is the physical betting. So the physical betting is that one where you actually go in some shop, I don't know if I can call it a shop, where you actually place a bet physically, you even use a pen and write. Yeah, so I don't know, have you ever done the physical betting? Because from my understanding, I'm thinking maybe there should be a difference in addiction levels between the online betting and the physical betting. We actually see people saying, I'm going for work, and they just go to bet, like they stay there the whole day. So have you ever tried the physical betting?
So okay, when I was starting out, I started with going to these, as you call them, shops or casinos, mini casinos. Yeah. But from the time I discovered that there's actually you can do it on your phone, I think I've never gone back. So from like 2018, I've never really gone to a mini casino to go and place a bet. If I can do it on my phone and it's easy that way, I think, yeah. I think I personally prefer the phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I can say. But I've tried out the one where I directly go there. Then you always have to be moving around with papers, trying to tick and yeah. But I only did that I think in the first month of my betting.
Okay, for me, I've never tried going to a shop, but I would want to go to, because sometimes when I even just pass through a shop, I just look at people and I'm like, okay, I would want to
Must be there.
experience how they feel and all those things. But I usually just use my phone all the time.
Okay. So Sandra, only 4% of females in Ridgeway campus do bet. So how do you feel about being in that 4% of the females that actually bet, did I say, here in Ridgeway campus?
I feel great. Personally, I feel it's a plus for me, because like sometimes you meet guys, like when I'm watching from the center, then they'll just compliment you that, oh, it's good when a female is actually interested in football and all those things. I think it's nice. Then the betting part, I've heard of some ladies who are into betting, but then they don't know much about football, so it becomes hard. So I think that's why they don't.
But how do you place a bet if you don't even know which teams?
Yeah, so I
Okay,
feel
so
like
it's just
that's why they
basically-
don't bet.
Oh, okay. So Scott, how has betting changed, or how has it sort of affected how you interact with your friends, how you interact with others? How has it influenced that interaction?
Okay, I can say there's been a positive part of it, because I've made friends just from betting. So I think there's so many WhatsApp groups I'm in where we share tickets, what we call it. Yeah, share tickets and everything. So in one way or another, I think it brings me closer to friends, because sometimes we even have something to talk about. No, my ticket today went like this, so mine is like this. So somehow it brings us closer to people. Yeah, somehow. I would say. I think for personal relations, it has really helped, because it connects us in some way. Because just try out and just put something in your status. No, today I lost a ticket, and you find 20 more messages. I also lost today. So it's really big, and as much as we're losing part of it, but
And people actually share tickets.
They actually
like you
share
can make a
tickets,
ticket and share with Sandra.
yeah, I can share. Yeah, maybe yeah. So if you win, everybody wins. If you lose, we all lose.
Alright.
Yeah.
And Sandra, how has it influenced how you interact with your friends? Maybe
think-
male friends and female friends.
Okay, for female friends, it's bad because most of my female friends discourage me betting. But from the male perspective, I think it's going okay. Like I've interacted with other guys just football related, where we just talk about tickets and we would share tickets like Scott had put it. And I think it's good because you get to interact with someone you never thought you'd interact with. So it's good, it brings us closer to people, just like Scott had said.
Alright. So looking at how much you've won and how much you've lost, Sandra, can you say you've won more or maybe you've lost more?
Okay, I don't know how I can put it, but I think it's 50-50 because when I started, I actually just invested at 200 in my account, and of which I've used more than I invested, because most of the money that I lose is the money that comes from Betway.
Okay.
So I think I've made more than I invested.
Scott,
Well, I don't know how Sandra bets, but I'm a risk taker myself. So, trust me, I've lost a lot and I've won, and I'll be fine on that. If I were to do percentages, I think it would even if it's a ratio, I think I've lost more than I've actually. But okay, I think for me it's because of my type of betting.
okay.
Yeah, I think I take more risks than
Take more risks.
than
Like
actually
you go for the 250,000 with the one
50,000
kwacha.
with the one kwacha. Sometimes, place for teams like Zambia with 7 odds they're playing. Put the 500 kwacha for them. So such things, I think for me, have really made me lose more than I've actually won.
Oh, okay.
And every day there's a saying we say, no, we'll go again. And there's always the motivation that the running will not bite. So, anyways,
The Annex won't by itself.
Yeah.
I've only lost the 5 kwacha on
Oh.
betting. I think I once tried to bet once. I put the 5 kwacha. I think I was supposed to win something like a 20,000.
Wow.
And obviously, as expected, I lost. And then, I'm someone who watches a lot of soccer. And then, I think maybe it's also somehow sort of it advantages you if you watch soccer. Because, if you're a Chelsea fan, like you're tempted to just put on Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sandra, I know Sandra, a Liverpool fan, a staunch Liverpool fan. When Liverpool, let's say, is playing against Chelsea, like how do you bet in that instance?
Okay, I always have this one rule which says never bet against my team. So if my team is playing and I know that this game will be hard, it's either I go for a booking where I'll go for corners or for cards, or I'll go for goals. So if I know that Liverpool is playing with Chelsea, I know that obviously this game will be hard. There's a possibility it might even be a draw. So maybe I'll go for under 3.5 or under 4.5. Then I would leave out the part of who's going to win who.
Who's going to win?
Yes, because I can't go against my team. That's just the fact. So that's how I do it.
Scott, a Man U fan. Let's say Man U is playing against Chelsea. How are you supposed to bet in that instance?
Yeah, okay. That's another problem I have when it comes to betting. And my friends always tell me, don't use emotions in betting. I also have this principle where I would always want to bet for my team. Right? No matter what happens, I always want to bet for my team. So for me, I do it differently. So I would make the same ticket, but just do it opposite. So for this ticket, I put my team. You know, the other one, just for safety's sake, I'll put the other team.
Put the other team.
But definitely, I'll never leave out my team on any ticket. So if my ticket is going to die with my team. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
So Scott, have you ever tried to stop betting? Have you ever sat down and you are like, I think today I need to stop?
Actually, my 2021 resolution was to stop bet. Okay, not stop, but reduce on how I bet. Yeah, and well, this is April. Hasn't really gone well with because I think at some point during this year, I actually reduced on how often I used to bet. Yeah, because I used to do it quite a lot, but then I think I don't know if I can quick a relapse or something where everything just came back and yeah, I started betting more again. Now I've tried, but yeah, I think I've sat down to say, not that I'll stop, but I'll reduce on how I bet, for example, because as I told you, I'm a risk taker, so I think I really need to learn how not to really trust those odds they put up and everything.
Okay.
So for me, if I would say I was going to stop, I'll probably be lying, but if I say I was going to reduce or be more careful for now, that I've thought about.
Sandra, you ever tried to stop betting?
I've never tried, but I just give myself breaks. Like if I lose a lot, then I'll just be like, okay, I think let me just go on a break. Then just observe. But again, in that same break, I'll find that I'll just make a ticket where I'll just be like, okay, maybe for this game, this team will win, this team will win. And if I don't place that ticket, then it's going to go through. So just that same thing just keeps me going and then just tells me that, okay, you should continue betting. And another thing that also stops me from betting, I think 2021 has been a good year for me in terms of betting because I've been winning a lot.
Okay.
So it's been pushing me to like, don't stop. So I'm just
Yeah, so they actually found out that the substance-related abuse disorders like drug addiction and alcohol, as well as sexual addiction and the sports betting, which is the gambling we're talking about, these are the same. So if you look at drug addiction, that's treated like a mental health disorder. So do you think being addicted to sports betting should be given the same attention as drug addiction or alcohol abuse? Maybe let me start with you, Sandra.
Okay, to some amount, I think it should, because you find that there are people, once they lose their ticket, they become depressed. They just become emotionally unstable. You're talking this person, then this person just fires you insults and all those things because of the ticket. Then you're like, what's happening? So because of that, I think such people need attention.
Need attention.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think in one way or another, I think it should be treated in the same in the same category because yeah, I think it's an addiction, and in as much as people don't want to accept that it's an addiction, I think an intervention really needs to come to. People really need to be talked. I think sometimes you just feel as if you want to talk to someone, because I remember I think going for a week sad because I missed on a ticket where I was supposed to equate the life-changing ticket. Life-changing ticket. And then I remember, I think the Juventus that killed me on that ticket. You can say the slip is actually showing you're going to win, I think like about 50,000. Yeah, and then just one team kills. And every day when I wake up, I was just like, so what if? What if? Yeah. So I think emotionally, from the inside, I was really affected. People really couldn't tell, but I think for me, inside. And I think if there can be people setting up places of counseling centers where we can go and talk to them about this. Maybe I would have probably avoided betting that day, because from the inside, trust me, it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
Even if it's one quarter you put there, but you missed out on
something that's
60,000.
really, especially maybe if it's just one team that has.
And not even a team, by go actually, you just put over 0.5. 0.0.
And it actually ends 0-0. Yeah, so Scott, there are people that bet and the others that don't bet. Like for example, I've only betted once before. So what advice would you have for those who have never betted before?
Okay, so the advice I would tell them is okay, because I look at the potential last year. First of all, there's a possibility of winning money. So I wouldn't entirely tell someone not to bet, but I think for me, one thing I can just advise someone is if they're going to start betting, they really have to be careful about how they go about it. I think for me, I went in not with any advice. I just went in. If I see odds, okay, so let's take 1 point something, I'll just put them in, hoping that I would win when I see 20,000 reflecting there. But if someone was about to start betting, it's difficult to stop someone who wants to make money. Because they're also seeing money. They might feel as if you're jealous about it. And every day you on your status you post that you won something. So yeah. So I don't entirely say I would stop them from starting to bet, but I would really advise them to take a safety bet, like maybe if it's something like that. Yeah. But stopping them, I think I would be hypocrite because I'm doing it myself. Yeah. That's what I would say about that.
Okay, so Sandra, what advice would you give to those that are addicted to betting? Or maybe what advice would you give to yourself since you're already addicted?
As in, if I'm to stop or if I'm to just continue. Okay, I would borrow Scott's weight. He said you need to be a risk taker. So even as you're addicted, you need to know your limits, you need to know how far you can go and which money you can use, because sometimes you find that there are just some games you're just so sure, like we call them now Bidi Vishafiat, this team is going to go through, and you're just there like this is just your last money. Or for example, BC just enters and then you're just like 3 pin, if I put this 3 pin on this ticket I'll get a life-changing ticket and all those things. Then you're just like, let me put it. Then what if it doesn't go through? So you need to know how to manage risks, you know how to manage your own mental issues, and you just have to know your limit, how far you can go and which money to use. That's what I can say.
Alright. So our primary focus here is academics, right? Now they've actually found that sports betting has actually increased the risks of depression, anxiety disorders, and in some it's actually led to poor academic performance. So Sandra, from the time you started betting, can you say it has affected your academic performance to some extent?
Okay, to some extent, yeah, because there are some tickets you find that just one team just makes you lose, and then you just become so down that day, and you feel like you don't have the strength to study. So you just be like, okay, today I feel like let me not study because I'm not well. So maybe I'll pick it up tomorrow. So I think it does contribute
to academic performance. What?
Yeah, I think in one way or another it does. But I'll give a scenario. The weekend like this, it's difficult for me to really study. I've made a lot of tickets because I want to be checking out
And we're following up.
on them, yeah, because it might mean a cash out, for example.
Yeah.
So if I'm on my books on the weekend and then my phone will be by my side. So I think betting has taken the weekend away from my school. That's what I can say. I think somehow it's deleted the weekend from my school, because in as much as I'll be there studying, if the phone is on my side, I'll be tempted to check that ticket.
Tempted to check it.
Yeah, I think for me that's what I can say. But we'll try to catch up during the week. But yeah, can't deny the fact that it's still and it talked about depression, and it was I'm really depressed about the ticket. And it really happens. We might not show it, but it really happens. Yeah,
It does happen.
it does happen. Like the previous Champions League game, you just missed by a team.
But
Yeah, and then you just feel like not going to hard in the morning.
I just feel like just
Yeah, you just not in the mood.
let me just sleep
Let me
it
just
off.
sleep and such things. I think
Yeah, so according to the research that they found that most people are actually betting with Bet Power. So I understand that different companies, there's Bet Power, there's Betway, there's XBet. So what are some of the differences, and which one do you prefer? I don't know if there are any differences. Sandra.
Okay, for me, I started with Bet Power at first. Then I changed to Betway because Betway had it was better as compared to Bet Power in the fact that they used to offer cash outs. Like before, other teams would play because teams play at different times. So you would place a bet that I've got teams that are starting at 13 and teams that are starting at 21. So if all these teams pass through, then as you are waiting for 21 and you're not so sure if that ticket is going to go through, they'll offer you a cash out. So because of that, I went for Betway. But of recent, Bet Power has also introduced that fact, but I still like Betway. So I'm still more inclined to Betway as Bet Power.
Alright, Scott.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I also started with Bet Power. I think if you ask most of the people
Most
that
started with
played,
Bet Power.
most of them started with
Okay.
Bet Power. I'm sure even the time the study was done, that's when anything was
That's when
starting.
it's starting.
Yeah, because Bet Power is, it's simple. Like you could just log in into the site. There's nothing complicated about it. It's easy for you to place a bet on bet power.
On bet power.
Yeah, then bet. But because of that cash out,
The cash out, or the cash out sort of like tempts you. Like,
tempts you, and so that's where most of us actually went to Betway, and I think for me, I've now really understood. Like, okay, it's easy for me like when I go to bet power because I'll just go straight there. Yeah. Then the other thing I've also noticed is actually bet power has better odds than Betway.
Okay.
Yeah, but because of that cash out thing, my mentality is no cash out. I will still not go there. 1x bet has come on the scene, but the
Yeah.
time I tried, I think it's complicated for me, because I'm just used. If I go to the Premier League, okay, these are the games, this is what I did. Open 1x bet, then it's just a lot of things there.
Too complicated.
Like, no, I want to do this. Yeah, but I've seen people going to 1x bet because they're saying it's now more, I don't know,
Better.
better odds.
Okay.
Yeah, better returns. I don't know really, but I've not really tried that 1x bet. So I'm loyal to Betway. It's actually yeah.
Alright, so as we conclude, Sandra, have you made the bet today, for today's games?
Actually, I have 3 tickets right now.
Scott.
Okay, today I don't have a ticket which is ready. I would have been tempted to check it right now. But I made a ticket yesterday, which was supposed to follow up with today's games. Yeah, and it died yesterday. Yeah, I forgot to
It
make a
died before
ticket.
it was even
Yeah, I
born.
forgot to make a ticket last night. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, but I'm sure after this, the game's coming up at 21. So, sorry, viewers, but I'll probably be tempted to make one. Yeah.
Alright, thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you very much, Scott, for taking time to share with us some of your experiences with regards to sports betting. So viewers, you have heard it for yourselves. That was Scott and that was Sandra, one of our biggest bettors in the Ridgeway campus. So thank you very much for joining us. I believe you have learned 1 or 2 things about sports betting, as well as from the mental health aspect, as well as from the social aspect. And I believe we can pick out 1 or 2 lessons going forward. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, this has been Kasenge Blessings, your host.